Howdy, folks. I am back from Days of the Dead Con in Atlanta, Georgia. So let's talk about it. I was only there for one day, Friday, so keep that in mind when you see the footage that I shot from the convention, and I shot that footage a little later in the day on Friday, so that's why it may look like attendance is a little slow. This was my very first Days of the Dead. There were some pros, and there were definitely some cons to this con. First, the cons. I really disliked the location and the location of the location. It was a nightmare to get into. Then the hotel ran out of parking and we were forced to go park in a parking garage that could have doubled as a set from a Hellraiser movie. I was informed that the elevator did not work and to not use the stairs because homeless people used the stairway for things. Just use your imagination. Or don't. Don't. So just getting to check in at the hotel took hours. And then on top of that, once checked in, the AC didn't work in the room. As for the convention itself, the way that they had things arranged was really confusing. There was a main ballroom with just celebrities in it. There was another smaller room with just celebrities. There was a huge vendors area with some celebrities pushed back against the back wall. And then there was another separate, smaller vendor area. It was totally disconnected feeling. There was no flow. And to find some of the celebrities, it was like embarking on a scavenger hunt through a maze. They did provide a map at will call, but it wasn't much use other than as a fan to cool off with. And if you were looking for a specific vendor, good luck. You're probably still looking because there were so many and they were so spread out. You could have spent the whole weekend just with the vendors. On the bright side of things, all of the guests there, with one completely bizarre exception, were phenomenal. All the Hellraiser guests could not have been nicer or more pleasant to have met. For a bunch of demons, they're pretty darn good people. I was on the fence about going to Days of the Dead, but it was the Hellraiser peeps that made it a must for me. Chiefly among them, Valentina Vargas, the Princess Angelique from Bloodline, and she certainly did not disappoint. Ms. Vargas was incredibly nice, very friendly, and super sweet. Also from Bloodline, I met Lieutenant Rimmer, Christine Harnos. This was her very first convention. She too was incredibly friendly, and I enjoyed meeting her very much. I had Miss Vargas sign my Angelique figure, and both Miss Vargas and Miss Harnos signed my Bloodline original one-sheet. Nicholas Vince, Simon Bamford, and Barbie Wilde, the Chatterer, Butterball, and female Cenobite from Hellraiser 2, she made sure that I was aware of the fact that she was only in Hellraiser 2 prior to signing my Hellraiser 1 poster, to which I assured her that I was. All of them couldn't have been nicer, more friendly, or easier to talk to. They each took their time with fans, were engaging, and just cool. I was super excited to meet Julia, Claire Higgins. She too was super friendly, sweet, and just a pleasure to have met. All four signed my Hellraiser poster. I also met Deborah S. Hayes, Claudette from Friday the 13th. For the longest time, it was thought she had passed away, but luckily, that wasn't the case. She told me she had no idea people were looking for her or that anyone would want to meet her. But you're part of film history, I told her. Miss Hayes was also very pleasant and a joy to have met. I got her to sign my Friday the 13th poster, a poster to which empty space is getting very limited. Of all the still living Friday the 13th principals, all I need now are Harry Crosby Jr. and Kevin Bacon, and that sucker will be done. Since I was just there for one day and got a late start on things thanks to the parking fiasco, I really didn't spend that much time with the vendors. And because there were so many and they were so spread out, I feel like I would have needed an entire day just to be with the vendors. Overall, my first Days of the Dead convention was a mixed bag, but it was more pros than cons. However, the cons were pretty big cons. All the guests, though, could not have been nicer. As for the one exception that I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to name names or anything, but it was one of the most bizarre encounters I've ever had with a celebrity. at one of these things. Feel free to take guesses at who you think that person was down in the comments. Stick around to check out all of the footage that I shot from the convention, and if you attended Days of the Dead in Atlanta, Georgia this past weekend, please let me know down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace.
yeah, that's very true.
A huge thank you to all my patrons and channel members for your generosity and support. Become a patron today and get early access to videos, have a say in what content appears on my channel, join me for monthly live streams, exclusive watch parties, and more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream, as well as members-only watch parties. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.